welcome back to The Drag Detective, where today we're going to go through all of the challenge wins in regular US Drag Race that had two winners or more, and we're going to try and determine what would have happened if there could only ever be one challenge winner. Who would have won these challenges and why? Now, this is not a who I think should have won this challenge. This is a based on the judges' critiques, the vibe of what the judges are saying, who would have won. Also, it's a little cozy holiday episode. I'm gonna put a little crackling fire in the background, perhaps, and we can just have a cute little holiday moment. Now, the first ever double win in Drag Race history was Shangela and Alexis all the way back on season 3, episode 3, but really the second episode of the competitive season, where they are doing a acting challenge and rewatching these challenges. This is crazy. Everyone gets like maybe one or two lines. Like Mimi on first, I think it's the most. I think she gets like 4 lines or something like that. And basing the judging off of that is crazy. Like you literally have Shangela and Alexis who have, I think, 2 lines in this entire thing, and they win. And it's crazy. I so clearly think Mimi on first won this challenge, but obviously they didn't see it for her. And Alexis and Shangela, they're like connected at the hair. And so this is one of the hardest ones to pick who wins because not only are they playing basically the same character in the challenge, but their looks for this like future space queen drag thing are almost also the same. So like I guess I'll also answer, should this have been a double win? Yes, it should have been a double win because they did the same exact thing for the challenge and the runway and were connected for like literally connected for the challenge. So yes, it should have been a double win. But if I had to pick who would win this challenge solo, it probably would have been Shangela. I think that this is the second episode. They wanted to justify Shangela being back. They wanted to show her growth. And I think that she looked beautiful in both the runway and I guess the challenge. So I think that Shangela would have won. But I mean, this clearly should have been a double win. So nice job on the producers for that one. The next one is the very next season, which is also the second episode of that season. Season 4, we have one of the craziest challenges. We have the wrestling challenge where the queens are paired up into like a WWE duos. I know nothing about wrestling. I know there's like terms for this stuff. Who knows? But we have Chad Michaels and Madame LaQueer who are teamed up and they're the villains, I believe, because Madam is like looking crazy. And then on the runway, the category was like pretty girl, basically, just like cutesy drag. And this, I think, would have gone to Madame because the whole episode, her storyline is that she had an ankle injury, Uncle Ain't Cleek, obviously, and she wasn't sure if she was going to be able to do this challenge because like it's a very physical challenge and she has a leg injury. And so I think just storyline wise that makes sense. And if you look at the runways, neither are that great, but this is probably Madame LaQueer's best runway of the season. I think she does look cute, even though the hair is a little bit crazy, but I think it would have gone to Madame because this makeup and this crazy character that she did for the wrestling section, I think is exactly what they were looking for. And I think that that is what snagged her and Chad the double win. So I think it would have gone to Madame. We have another double win on season 4, which comes later in the season, and it is the frenemies kind of, it's like a comedy singing thing where they're paired up and they have to talk about like why they go good together, even though they're technically enemies, whatever. This is famously the episode where Sharon and Fifi are paired up and have to lip sync to It's Raining Men. Willem gets disqualified, but Willem wins the challenge with Latrice. And they do a great job. They both sound lovely. They have some gags for their little number. But if I had to choose a single winner, I think I would choose Latrice because she went out of her comfort zone for this. She normally doesn't wear something this skimpy. The judges seemed very impressed by that. And Willem got good critiques, but it seemed like they were really highlighting like how different this was for Latrice. So I think that she probably would have gotten the solo win, but this one clearly makes sense as a double win. There are no double wins in season 5, but in season 6, we have the commercial challenge. Basically, they're selling makeup, and they're put in pairs for this. And of course, Adore and Laganja with their beef get paired up for the challenge. This is a weird one because Michelle, this is like one of, I think the only time I can think of where Michelle very clearly did not agree with RuPaul on who won. And so obviously I think this was definitely like storyline, like the reason why they won. And we'll get into the riggery of season 6 soon. Very soon actually. But like Adore and Laganja were fine. The runway category was black and white. Laganja looks crazy. Adore looks fine. I think Adore would have won, and I honestly, like, I don't think this pair should have won. I think that Bianca and Trinity should have won, and that should have been a pair win. But if we have to choose from this pair, it should have been Adore. Then we have 3 double wins in season 7, so we'll talk about all 3 of them. The first one is the Despy Awards, where the queens are paired up and they have to do little like comedy shticks for this like awards show. And there's a lot of people who do well, but this was really Pearl's episode. This is when she comes out of her shell. This is when she does Is There Anything on My Face with RuPaul. And she gets her like redemption moment and wins the challenge with Max. And I think that if this was a solo win, it would have went to Pearl because it was kind of like her moment to either like break or shine. And she had like her little breakthrough moment. So I think Max did well. And obviously Max wrote a lot of the jokes because Pearl left the workroom and like was gone for like I think 40 minutes or something like that. But I think for the storyline, they would have given it to Pearl. But I think it made sense that it was a double win. One that I don't think was deservedly a double win is the Snatch Game, which had 2 winners for the first time ever, Kennedy and Ginger. So Kennedy played Little Richard and Ginger played Adele. They were both wonderful. They were both lovely. The runway category was like leather and lace, I think. And I think they both had good looks. But there was like, Kennedy did something that had never been done on the Snatch Game. She played a man and it was funny. And prior in Drag Race, like people playing male roles, this was not in like a positive thing. They would always say, don't do it. Obviously with Milk and Alaska doing it, they were like, this ain't it, queen. But for Kennedy, she was able to make it funny. And so it didn't matter. And I think because she kind of broke that barrier, she deserved this challenge win alone. Again, Ginger did great. I just think Kennedy should have won this solo. The last double win of season 7 was the like Dancing with the Stars kind of challenge where they had to do a dance number that was like remixing different dance types together, like Country and the Robot is what like Trixie and Ginger got. And Katya and Violet are paired together. They have like half male, half female looks on. They very clearly do the best and they get the win. It made sense that both of them won. But if I had to pick one person to win, Katya had been doing super well. She'd won multiple challenges. She was kind of on a high streak. But Violet kind of came in hot. She won the first challenge. And then her track record was everywhere. She was high, she was safe, she was low. And I think that at this point in the competition, she needed that second win. And obviously, we know that she then wins the following episode with the Hello Kitty ball. But I think she needed this win here to really like clinch her spot in the top 3. So I think that Katya didn't like need another win. Violet needed another win. So they probably would have given it to Violet. Okay, now we are moving to season 8, where we have one of my favorite challenges of all time, but also one of my least favorites because it knocks out one of my like favorite queens ever. We have the political challenge where they have to make like shady political ads. And Bob and Derek are paired together. They have been adversaries the whole season. They have been at each other's throats. So naturally, they're paired together for this challenge. And this is truly like when Derek Barry like emerges. Like she's had some good weeks. Like she did really great in the Snatch Game and things like that. But this was her best week. She just lets go. She has fun. She listens to Bob's like advice and together they annihilate this challenge. I do think though that Bob still wins it over Derek if it was a single win, which I agree it should have been a double win. Because of the runaway, because they had to do like a black and white, a take on Detox's black and white look from the season 5 reunion / finale. And Derek's is like, it's just not great. And Bob's isn't like incredible either, but Derek does this like reveal and it just feels a little flat. Bob at least has a concept and looks good. So I think that it would have gone to Bob, but this was definitely, I think, a great moment for Derek on season 8. Then we're moving to season 9, where we have 2 double wins to talk about, both involving the same queens. Sasha Velour won 2 challenges on season 9, and both of them were paired wins with Shea Coulee. So it's going to be interesting to see if, Sasha would have gotten any of those or if she would have left the season with no wins if they were both solo wins. So the first one is the Good Morning Bitches Challenge. It's basically like a morning talk show, and her and Shay are basically doing this like food segment where they're making like broccoli and chocolate and they kind of want to fuck each other. It's very strange, this angle that they take, but it's really funny and you can see how much chemistry they have as a duo. I think this was such, both of these are deserved like double wins. I think they both deserve the win. But looking at the runway, it is the Naughty Nighties runway, which many people flopped. Neither of them did. I think they both looked good. But I think that Sasha's look was just a little bit more, had more of a perspective. She has like the candelabra. She has like the huge teased out hair. So I think the win would have went to Sasha. And Shay wins the next episode anyway. So I think it would have went to Sasha. But the next time they're in the top two slash win together is the pilot episode where they have to make this is the Valentina, take the thing off your mouth. They have to make pilots in duos, like commercials for a pilot. And they do Teets and ASCII, which is basically like, it's crazy, but it's like a spy Russian moment. I don't even know how you would explain this, but it was really good. It was kind of the only one of the three that really kind of nailed it. And then the runway was Club Kid Couture. So both of them had great looks. Both of them had a really great kind of perspective for their Club Kid looks. But I genuinely think Sasha wins this because she does the kind of Russian character that really stands out. And I remember what Sasha did in this challenge more than I remember what Shay did. I remember Shay did the like, vote, bitch. But I remember like Sasha's character a lot better. And I think her runway was like a teeny bit better than Shay's. So I think Sasha deserved both of these wins. And if they were solo, they both would have went to Sasha. So the whole argument of like, well, Sasha never got a solo win. So like, does she really deserve the crown? I mean, yes, because I think that she did better than Shay by a tiny margin, tiny margin, but I think she did in both of these challenges. So I would give them both to Sasha. Up next, we have one of my favorite challenges. Well, okay, it's like a half and half because it is a movie parody challenge, and they're parodying Black Panther and Get Out. The Black Panther skit, horrible. The Get Out skit is so good, so good, and like the cast is amazing. Like these group of queens that they had together for this was iconic. It's like Silky, it's Vanjie, it's Akira, it's Scarlett, it's Evie, and then Kahana and Mercedes, who maybe don't do so well, but the others like all kill it, and it's so good. And I love Get Out, and I thought that Scarlett and Evie both did an incredible job. Scarlett's kind of playing the damsel in distress, and then Evie's playing like the secretly evil girlfriend, and they both do so well. And on the runway, it's the What's Your Sign runway, which I want them to redo, and they both fucking killed it. Like this is probably my favorite Scarlett runway of this season, and like definitely in her top 3 ever. I love this runway. I remember there was like a quick shot of it in the promo for the season, and I was immediately like, what is that? I need to know what that is. And then when I saw it, I was like, oh my God. Like this is one of my favorite looks of all time from Drag Race. And like, yes, it's just like a dress, but like she added so many other things to it with the hair, with the makeup, with the bubble gum. Like there was just so much going on. I love this look. And then Evie does her mechanical Leo lion look, which is one of my favorite Evie Oddly looks. And I remember watching this episode and falling in love with both of them. Like I, to this day, love Evie and Scarlet Envy so much. And seeing Evie's drag, like it unlocked something in my mind. Like seeing this look in particular unlocked something in my mind. And just made me fall in love with Evie and her drag, and I was such a stan of her the entire season. She never did anything wrong ever in her life. Like, I was standing her so hard, and it's because of this episode. But I think it deserved to be a double win, but I actually think if there was a solo win, it would have went to Scarlett, because based off the critiques, they were giving Evie a lot of praise, but they specifically said to Scarlett, she is the best actress up there. And she took what could have been a very one-note part and made it into something really three-dimensional and funny to watch, and there was layers to it. So I think that Scarlett would have for sure won over Evie, but I do think that this is a like deserved top 2 win. But also, if Evie didn't win this, she never would have won a challenge on season 11, which is bullshit, because I think she could have won easily, could have won the Rusical. I think she could have won the Farm to Runway and she 100% should have won the top 5 queens everywhere. So like it's sad that this was Evie's only win and it was a paired one, and technically she was like second under Scarlett, but it was a great episode for both of them, and one of my favorite. I love season 11, guys. I'm sorry. I really, really like season 11, and I kind of want to rewatch it now. So, okay, now we have 2 from season 13, both including Simone. The first one, Simone wins with Utica, and it is the makeover where they're making over another queen in the competition and putting their drag on them. Obviously, this was like the COVID season, so they couldn't bring in people. So this was how they decided to do it. This is famously the episode where Rose looked like this, yet Denali went home. And Simone and Utica both do an incredible job. And like low key, like there's an argument to be made that like Candy and Gottmik also easily could have won this episode. Those 4 did a fantastic job, but Simone and Utica both do a really good job of embodying each other on the runway and taking big risks. And so they get the win. If there was a solo win, I think it would have went to Utica, because at this point, Simone has had multiple wins. She's been in the top mostly every week. And Utica had kind of been struggling. Like, she definitely had some good weeks in the competition, but she'd been struggling for a while. And I think this was a really, really high moment for her. And she specifically did something that the judges asked her to do many times, which was drop the leg like on the runway and just like serve a look to us. And as Simone, she did that. And so I think just because of that, she would have gotten the solo win, because like, again, Simone didn't need another win. She had more wins coming like in the next episode. And Utica really, I think, needed like a boost or like a moment to really shine at this point in the competition, especially knowing now that she doesn't really last that much longer. But I think it would have went to Utica. The next time this happens is, I think, the next episode. And while I think the last one was a deserved double win, this is one of the most confusing double wins to me. Like, it might be the most confusing double win, because it is like the commercial challenge where they have to like make and brand and then sell a soda can. This is the like Utica when she's like sucking on the udder. And Simone gives Sweet Tooth, which is like so good. Yes, it's the same like character Simone has been playing all season, but she like nails it every time. The judges think it's funny. I still think it's funny. I don't really care about that, especially when it's a branding challenge. Like, you better brand what comedy works for you and what like character in comedy works for you. So I think she did a fantastic job. Then it was the monster runway. I don't remember if that was exactly the name, but it was like they had to do like a monster look. And she does this like sexy furry costume, and it is everything. It's so good. But she shares the win with Rose. And this is where I'm confused, because Rose does Roseade, and it's like a take it in the morning after a hangover and you'll feel great. But like, I like quite literally forgot everything about her commercial. I remember she wore the Jan face crack robe, and I remember she wore pink. But like, I remember Sweet Tooth. Like, I remember that commercial from Simone. I did not remember Rose's. And after rewatching both, Simone did miles better than Rose. Like, not saying Rose did bad. I think it was a deservedly like high challenge, but I don't think that she should have won, despite her runway being probably the second best of the week after Simone. So for me, Simone won this. I don't think Rose deserved to win. I think it just should have been a solo win for Simone. The next one is from season 15, and it is the stand-up comedy challenge, where Lux and Lucy, who have been kind of adversaries the whole season, are put together and they do well at the comedy set. Now, rewatching this challenge, I don't think anyone did that well. Like, this was not a good comedy set. I actually think like Selena probably did like the best, but Mistress kind of dragged her down. And then Lux and Lucy had some jokes and were able to bounce off each other and did a good job of bouncing off each other. Even though the jokes were a bit tired, a bit like I've heard these before, they definitely had that going for them, as well as the storyline of their enemies, and they managed to like work it out together. So I think it was a deserved double win, yes. But if there had to be a solo win, I think it would have went to Lux, because Lux is both wearing a look from RuPaul's like history. I think she's like, this is from 1986, and she's like getting choked up, and it was just like a really, really good look. Whereas Lucy's look, I think the category was like ripped up or like shredded, something like that. Lucy's look is cute until you look at the makeup, and then it's just a little cuckoo bananas, Manny Santos reference. And I think that Lux in the challenge also just delivered more than you would expect. Like, Lux wasn't known for her comedy. She'd been fine. Like, she did fine in the Snatch Game. She's been competent in comedy challenges, but she truly, like, shined in this challenge. Whereas Lucy is the comedy girl. She has one of the best Snatch Games of all time. And I think she did good, but for Lucy LaDuca, we were expecting her to do great. So I think because of those two reasons, the solo win would have went to Lux. But I think this should have been a double win. I think they did bounce off each other well, they worked together well, and the looks were at least mostly good, besides Lucy's makeup. Now we have two more left, and they're both from season 16. The first one that we have is the girl groups, where they kind of took from the UK and just like gave 4 wins out to like the winning group. And that group was Team ASMR Lover, which was Maya Aman LePage, Geneva Carr, Nymphia Wind, and Megami. I totally get why this was a 4-way win. I'm actually fine that it was a 4-way win. And I think that if you had to pick a winner, it's difficult because of the runway. This was like a weird runway category. It's like, what is it? Faster Pussycat Run Run or Whip Whip or something. It's like the most bizarre name ever. They just have to wear a pussycat wig. But a lot of these looks were not good. Like, a lot of the looks on this runway were not good. And I would say 3 of their 4 looks were not good. Like, Megami, love her to death, but this is just a little bit small. She's playing this kind of like fairy character, but at the end of the day, it was just a little bit basic. Maya is wearing like, if she wore this in a performance, like in like the ASMR challenge, I would have like not thought twice about it. But for like a runway on season 16, I just don't think it's big enough. Geneva, you know, had some questionable looks on the season. I think this is one of them. People like hate this look. People hate this look. I don't hate it like that. I think it's fine. I just don't think it's very like memorable. And then you have Nymphia, who looks incredible. She has a reveal, all these things. So I think that if you had a solo win, it probably would go to Nymphia. But if it's just based on the challenge, I think it would have gone to Megami. This was like such a standout moment for Megami. And knowing that she wrote Nymphia's verse and she was really like helping them with their verses, like I think Megami won based off the challenge. But since we also have to factor in the runway, I think it went to Nymphia. And then the final one is the Bathroom Hunties challenge, which is basically like an HGTV make a bathroom. It was kind of like a convoluted challenge, and not many people did well, but Team Saphira and Plain did incredibly. And it was so funny. They do this like speakeasy bathroom and they're pulling alcohol out of everything. Saphira does an opera performance. Plain does some type of performance, but it gets cut. I think she said scat. It gets cut. We don't see it. Maybe because it wasn't that funny. Maybe because they just needed to have time for everything else. But it's really funny. They work together perfectly. And then on the runway, category was chains. Saphira wears this like BDSM kind of like gimp dog look. It's so cool. She, I think, used chains really, really well and really smartly. She didn't just have them dangling, you know, like everyone else did. And Plain wore something that we've seen Plain wear a couple times this season, kind of like a metallic bodysuit moment. And I think this win would have went to Saphira. I think they both did well in the challenge, but the fact that they really highlighted Saphira's opera and completely cut whatever mini performance Plain did, I think shows that like Saphira's was better. And I think on the runway, Saphira's was far better. So I think while I agree it should have been a double win, if it was a single win, it would have went to Saphira. So let me know what you think. Did I miss any? I like randomly forgot one, and like when I was getting ready to record, I remembered like the Willem and Latrice one was a double win from season 4. I need to do that. So if I forgot another one, make sure you let me know in the comments, and let me know if you disagree with any of these takes, and I would love to hear why. Also, I have to give some props to this Chai merch that I got from her merch store here and linked in the description. We unfortunately did just send her home on Drag Duel, but her merch is tea. So go support Chai and get some cute merch. I will be taking 1 week off next week for the holiday, but then the following week, it is spooky time because we will be doing the riggery of Dragula 666. And I have so many thoughts on the season. I'm so excited to finally do a Dragula video on this channel. So if you want more Dragula content, I did just post my cast wish list for Titans 2 on my Instagram. So make sure you follow me there. Make sure you follow me on Blue Sky. All of my social medias, as well as Drag Jewel, are linked in the description down below. So go support, and I hope all of you have a wonderful holiday season. As you can tell, I've been decked out. I've been decked out since November, what, like 2nd? Like, this is my time to shine. This is my time of year, and I am just trying to enjoy every last second. So I hope everyone has a very safe and fun holiday, and I will catch you all in 2 weeks for another video. So thank you all so much for watching, and I will catch you all in the next one.